Hey everybody, Everyman Prepping here. Today we're going to talk about the attack, the sabotage on the Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines in the Baltic Sea, who might benefit, who the likely state sponsors would be if it is a sabotage, which looks like it is. First, thank you so much for all the likes, subscriptions, the comments, the shares. I appreciate everything. And let's go on to some of the articles now and see what's going on here with this attack. We see here from the heads, first of all, we're going to talk about the U.S. response. And it says, the U.S. stands ready to support Europe partners in their efforts to investigate. Yeah, that's great. Then you got Blinken, Secretary of State. It is basically the worst one we've ever had. Probably, I don't know, they've all been bad lately. But in here is a quote. He says, but if they are confirmed that these are attacks or sabotage he's talking about, if these are confirmed, he says, such an attack is of no interest to anyone. It's of no one's interest. I'm sorry, it says it's of no one's interest. Well, that's completely wrong. I don't know why he would say that. There's a lot of people that have interest in what happened, and it benefits a lot of people we're going to talk about. I don't know if he's just out of touch, if he's just stupid or what, but that's a dumb statement. Going on through some of these updates here, you'll see that one of the explosions had a magnitude 2.3 and was registered out as many as 30 measuring stations in southern Sweden. That's some geologists out there. Then it says Bjorn Lund, a professor in seismology, and director of the Swedish National Seismic Network, said these two seismic events were definitely explosions. There's also, I have a note here that from the Swedish Uppsala University, a professor there said that this was likely about 100 kilotons of TNT. That's a big explosion. That's just not a crack, a leak, an earthquake, a landslide, like they say. Most likely this was sabotage. And the other thing you're going to notice here when we get down to it, this happened in international waters, which is, interesting, very precise placement if you think about it. But here's a map. You can see where it happened off this little tiny island, Danish island, where the attacks happened. And down here you can see some photos. So here you see giant bubbling up gas, methane, which is what natural gas is from the pipelines. It's huge, 700 meters, a kilometer or so, very big. And, I don't know if there's any hazard of it to exploding or not, or since it's underwater, if it's a hazard to wildlife, who knows. But this isn't just something you can go down and fix. This is going to be out for a while, which might have been the purpose of this. And further on, we get here to see that someone from Nordstream says it's impossible to estimate the time frame for restoring the operations of the gas shipments infrastructure. I mean, they weren't using Nord Stream 2 to begin with, and basically Nord Stream 1 was turned off. And I want to show you here in this picture here, you can see here that 2 explosions on Nord Stream 1 happened to the north of the island, and 1 on Nord Stream 2 to the south. These dotted lines are international water territory, so within the 12 miles. So as you can see, very strategically placed just outside. So it's not a act of war per se, because it's not within your national borders of Denmark, and there was no NATO Article 5 to trigger. It's not an act of war because you didn't attack the territory of a NATO nation. It's just outside. These 2 explosions here, if they're really side by side like that, that means to me they wanted to take out a chunk of the pipeline, basically shut it down for maybe years. Who knows? I don't know how long it takes to, splice in a new section of pipe and fix all the infrastructure that was busted. But 1 explosion, much easier to patch. If you remove a section of pipe doing a giant explosion, that's a long haul maintenance request there. It says flows in the Nord Stream 1 might not resume this summer or this winter. Yeah, no kidding. You get a 100 kiloton explosion, you're probably not coming back on for next winter. That's not only this winter, but next winter as well. That's what I would assume. And lastly, we got down here that the Energy Authority says a lot of gas is coming out. So it's not a small crap. It's a really big hole. That's probably the understatement of the year. Once they get a sub down there and take some photos of this, I think we're going to see a gigantic section of pipe missing from Nord Stream 1. And Nord Stream 2 will probably have a giant hole in it as well. And then to pile on top of that, we have this article. So those are the 2 major pipelines leading into Germany. There's a couple other that go through Ukraine. And as you can see here, it says, in dramatic escalation, the European natural gas prices soar after Gazprom warns the Ukrainian flows might be at risk. And it says here that Gazprom then said that one of the two remaining routes bringing gas to Europe through Ukraine was at risk because of a legal spat. It is also said that Russia may introduce sanctions against Naftogaz, the Ukrainian company, in case it further pursues the arbitration case, meaning Gazprom would be prohibited by the sanctions from paying Ukrainian the transit fees. Let's look at this map here a little bigger. So the dark blue is the gas pipeline. Here you got Nord Stream 1 and 2, which are now done and toast. And through Ukraine here, we have this Brotherhood pipeline that goes through the middle. There's also the Yamal European one that kind of comes through Ukraine. They both join up here. There's this third one here, but they're talking about two ways in. I think they mean this Yamal one basically as it comes in. It's fed by 2 or 3 other pipelines. It feeds Germany and Italy. So this is all that's left. And now they're saying, well, if we do some sanctions here, because we're having a legal battle about payment of fees, we're going to cut that off as well. Basically, if you're in Europe, especially in Germany, don't plan on having a lot of natural gas this winter. Just plan on now. If you didn't wake up yet, this should wake you up that you're done, basically. You better start getting your wood. Like I said, be the woodpile warlord. That was my video about a couple months ago. Get your wood, get your electric heaters. Germany came out today, said, you know what? A lot of our electricity produced by natural gas, we're going to keep 2 of those nuclear plants that we're going to turn off by the end of the year. We're going to kind of leave those on because we're going to need the electricity. Mainly because they're not going to have natural gas to heat things. They're going to have to use electricity and electric heaters, which is probably going to overload the infrastructure and die as well, but they got to do something. So, and if Germany goes, which is the engine, the economic engine of the European Union, if that goes, the rest is going to go. Italy's already making, they just got a new prime minister. She's already pointing out that maybe we don't need to do sanctions. She is going to push probably maybe even to leave the EU. Who knows? We'll see. Hungary's also showing signs of anti-NATO, anti-EU rhetoric, so they're cracking. NATO and EU they're cracking, and this pipeline bust is going to lead more to that. So that leads me to talk about who could this benefit. We got Blinken out there saying it's in no one's interest. Actually, it is in a lot of people's interest. So let's look. It's got to be state sponsored. If you're taking a sub down there, you're not just swimming a couple scuba divers down to the bottom of this thing and planting 100 kilos of dynamite and blowing it up. I'm not an expert, just my opinion, but I think you got to have a state sponsor. So let's look at Germany. There's lots of protests in Germany just a few days ago saying, hey, we need to stop these sanctions. We're going to freeze, turn on Nord Stream 1 and 2, pay Russia whatever they want. We want our natural gas. Well, how do you shut those people up? Well, you blow up the pipeline. Now your citizens can't, there's nothing, they can't protest about turning them on because they're not there. So now, basically you got the citizenry back under control. You want to, punish Russia. You want to not take their gas, but you don't want to look like there's an option to do it so that people don't press you. So Germany goes out there, blows up the pipeline, and now they have the citizenry under control. Possibility. Another possibility, Russia did this. They want to punish Europe and Russia. They don't want to be pressured into turning it back on. The lifting of sanctions. If the EU lifts sanctions, they're like, okay, now you have to turn on. I don't think Russia wants to turn on. I think that Russia wants to make Europe suffer. They want Germany to suffer. They're in a war. In a war, you play to win, and Russia's playing to win. So they could just blow it up themselves, saying, hey, we'll take the financial hit. We don't care. We're not giving you stuff anyway. Have a nice winter, Europe. Ukraine. Ukraine could benefit a lot from this because it puts more pressure on NATO and Europe. I don't know if they can pull it off. I don't know if they have the means to pull this off. I know they don't. I don't believe they have subs or anything like that. They probably need help from another NATO partner, United States, UK, France, anybody. But they have a lot to benefit because now the only gas to Germany and Europe passes through the Ukraine. Thus, Ukraine is very vital. You got to support us. You got to keep that gas flowing. You better not let Russia take over. You won't get any gas. So, protect us, give us arms, give us money, give us weapons. Ukraine has a lot to gain by those pipelines getting blown up. Don't know if they could do it themselves, but they have a lot to gain. United Kingdom, they have the means to do it. I don't see this as benefiting them at all either way. So I don't know if they really could be someone to look at. United States. even though Blinken is being out there saying stupid things. What does USA have to benefit? Well, we can be the supplier of liquid and natural gas now, liquefied natural gas, on shipments. Could be the corporate greed. We're shipping our liquefied natural gas over there, gigantic prices, making tons of money. Always a possibility. It keeps the U.S. looking strong. We're going to save Europe now. Another thing is the United States and Secretary of State and Biden administration, they can think we're going to bankrupt Russia. We're going to starve them of money. So, Russia's probably going to need money. They're going to turn on that pipeline. They're going to start making money again. We're not going to give them that option. We're going to make sure it's dead and they won't be able to earn money off it. That's a totally losing strategy. I can see the United States thinking that, but Russia has plenty of customers for all their commodities. They're gold-backed, they're commodity-backed economy. They're going to be fine, and the United States economy is going to die. So that's how it goes. Last one on here, I can see China definitely have the means to do it. They could be hired out by a third party. They could be, Russia could have kind of had China do this. That way there's no connection back to Russia. There's no blowback. It could be something that, China does to divert attention away from their possible upcoming attack on Taiwan. So China's a possibility. And it benefits them by putting more emphasis on this part of the world, less emphasis over on the, Asian part of the world and what's going on over there. It's just, let's shine the light over in Europe and don't worry about what we're going to do to Taiwan over here. You guys have a lot of problems to worry about over there. Could be a benefit to China. That's what I have as the possibilities. Post comment below what you think. Who might have done this and why? Who does it benefit? Who does it hurt? And I know in the United States, we have our own problems coming up over here with, the hurricane going to Florida. There's a lot of gas, natural gas production, oil wells, oil rigs in that area. Look for gas prices to go up, natural gas to go up. Look for shutdowns in those refineries down there. Why let a disaster go to waste? I'm sure they'll hike prices. So if you're in Florida and you're listening to this, I hope you're getting ready, get prepared. Like I said in my video yesterday, do what you can do now. It's a great test for your preps. Are you ready? And if you're in the line, well, hopefully you've got everything you need. You're not going through the chaos in the stores now. We wish everybody luck down there, and we'll talk to you all soon. Until then, keep your ear to the ground and head on a swivel.